The film begins with Samuel, a photographer, who is busy filming people sleeping on a bus. At first, we don't know what happened on this island, except that the people there have been asleep for 3 days. Some are sleeping in swimming pools, others in churches, others on buses and in hotels, literally everywhere. Doctors are immediately sent to the island and begin examining the people to find out what caused this situation. No one is allowed to move them from the places where they are sleeping, because doing so could cause a dangerous rise in blood pressure. What's strange, however, is that the island does not affect the doctors or anyone new who arrives. It is assumed that this strange phenomenon only affected the people who were already there. Because of that, they decide to set up a camp on the island to uncover the cause. We return to Samuel, the journalist, and learn that he reached the island without anyone noticing, since journalists are forbidden from going there. We see him carrying a bag with a goldfish that used to belong to an elderly woman who was on the bus, and he decides to take it with him to keep him company during the time he will spend there. He enters a house and finds a girl named Stella sleeping on the bed. He then goes into another room and sleeps there. Before falling asleep, he hears the voices of researchers standing outside the house. Samuel becomes afraid that his presence will be discovered and that he will be punished, so he moves quietly, makes sure they have left, and then goes back to sleep. While sleeping, he dreams that he meets Stella at a supermarket and calls her by her name. She is very surprised and asks him, "How do you know my name?" Just as he is about to answer, he suddenly wakes up. He gets up to continue his mission and keep filming. He goes to the church, where he finds many people, and starts filming them. He then sits among them and suddenly falls asleep. A strange girl appears to him and asks, "Did you come here just to make money?" He replies, "I came here to gain experience, understand the details exactly, and also to achieve fame in the future." She then disappears. He returns home and keeps staring at Stella in confusion as she sleeps. He notices her diary, and the moment he opens it, Stella appears to him. We realize that some kind of communication has begun between them. He asks her, "What do you feel while you're asleep all the time?" She answers, "I feel calm and peaceful, but most of the time I feel like I'm falling from a very high place." She tells him that she was at school one day when, all of a sudden, the piano teacher fell asleep for no reason. From that moment on, the illness spread throughout the entire class. When she got home, she fell asleep, and she has been sleeping ever since. The next day, Samuel goes out to continue filming. When he gets close to his car, he finds a large number of balloons placed inside it. He starts filming them, then writes that 2 researchers were standing at a high point and saw him. He realizes that he has been exposed, and that he must escape. He goes back home again, packs his things, and heads to the beach. But he finds himself unable to leave the island, because he doesn't want to leave Stella. He has become deeply attached to her. So he returns home once more. Every time he sleeps, Stella appears to him, and they talk together. At one point she asks him, "Aren't you going to tell me the real reason you came to this island?" He tells her, "I came here a year ago on vacation, and I saw you at the supermarket. I kept walking behind you, but I didn't have the courage to stop you and introduce myself. I fell in love with you the first time I saw you, and that's the reason I came back and stayed. I couldn't leave, because I need to get to know you better." He wakes up from sleep and goes to the supermarket to buy the things he needs. When some researchers enter the supermarket, he is forced to pretend that he is asleep so they won't suspect him. One of the researchers approaches him and examines him, but she doesn't pay him any attention, then leaves and walks away. After that, he decides to enjoy his time, buys everything he is missing, leaves some extra money behind as he goes, and returns home. He starts searching through Stella's belongings to learn more about her. He finds a cassette tape and a recorder, plays the tape, and hears her talking about herself. He discovers that she loves very unusual sounds, like the voice of a Barbie doll, the sound of a typewriter, the sound of boats, and even the sound of her own footsteps when she walks in the sea. He memorizes these details so he can tell her later, hoping she will like him and see how much he cares. He also learns that she dreams of taking a long road trip by car on a road that runs alongside the sea. He falls asleep so he can dream and meet her there. When she appears in his dream, he tells her that he knows about her wish to take a trip on a road next to the sea, and that he loves that idea for her. He gets his car, but she tells him they will take a different car, one that belongs to someone who is asleep. He tells her that they can't steal a car and do something like that. She answers that they won't steal it, they'll just borrow it and return it later. They enter the place of a sleeping man, take his car keys, and head out on their trip. Samuel is very happy that he managed to make Stella happy and see her smiling and excited. But he suddenly wakes up and finds doctors and researchers inside the house, because they carry out routine checkups on the cases every week. He doesn't know how to react, so he hides before they see him. As soon as they finish the examination and leave, he goes to Stella, holds her hand, and falls asleep next to her on the floor. He wakes up the next day and continues listening to the recordings. This time, he learns the things she hates, especially loneliness. She used to say that she never liked being alone, that her entire life felt empty without anyone by her side, and that even living alone deeply bothered her. He falls asleep again so he can communicate with her, and he tells her that he knows she hates being alone, and that everyone needs a partner in life. He tells her that he wants to be her life partner, but she tells him that this will never happen and that it's not possible. Suddenly, he feels that everything he had been doing was meaningless, that he wasted his time on something that would never happen. He decides to leave the island, but he still can't, he's unable to leave her behind. He returns home again and starts cooking the food that Stella likes, and they eat together. In the dream, she asks him to leave the place and never come back, telling him that the Stella in the diaries is different from the Stella in real life, and that he needs to understand that and not be fooled. He keeps thinking about her words and says to himself that maybe she's right. How could a woman he has never spoken to in real life love him or be attracted to him? He also doesn't know what she truly feels toward him. For the third time, he decides that he really must leave the island, but something strange happens. He becomes extremely thirsty, and no matter how much water he drinks, he remains thirsty. He senses that something is wrong, because he also feels an overwhelming urge to sleep. He realizes that the water is the cause and that it is what made all the people fall asleep. That's why he kept falling asleep throughout that period. He goes back home again and starts writing notes, then falls asleep against his will. Every time he wakes up, he continues writing everything down. After some time, Stella's body starts to move. She wakes up and immediately gets up to drink water, since she had been asleep for 3 weeks. She notices that there is a second toothbrush in the house and realizes that Samuel is there. She gets very upset because he went through her diary and personal belongings and also listened to her recordings. She keeps trying to wake him up, but he doesn't respond. When she finds the notes he wrote, she forgives him and understands that he was trying to help her. She reads that he wrote she is not alone and will never feel lonely again. He tells her everything he learned and explains that even though he is a stranger, he feels very close to her and knows everything about her. She starts taking care of him and stays by his side, just as he once took care of her. The situation reverses, and she begins communicating with him while he is asleep, learning everything about his life, what he loves and what he hates. After a short time, she wakes up and doesn't find Samuel in bed. She looks for him until she finds him in the kitchen, cooking the food she loves. For the first time, they meet face to face, and it feels as if they have known each other for a long time and know everything about one another. We also discover that the elderly woman who was sleeping on the bus, from whom Samuel took the fish, has woken up as well. It turns out she had 2 fish, not just one. People everywhere begin to wake up, and that is the end of the film. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel.